Hey everyone, Micah here with Electrek, and today I'm coming to you from Newport Beach, California, where we're visiting Electric Bike Company to see how they build their electric cruisers right here in the US. Let's check it out. I had the chance to visit Electric Bike Company's factory 2 years ago, and a lot has changed since. They outgrew that single location, and now are spread across a half-dozen buildings within a few miles of each other in Newport Beach, where they handle all the different aspects of designing and building electric cruiser bikes. It all starts with bare frames that are built up entirely according to customers' designs. You get to choose your drivetrain, the battery capacity, accessory loadouts that come pre-installed on the bikes, paint colors for all of the different parts, which we'll talk about more in a minute, and basically everything about the building of the bikes just gets a much more personal touch. So building of the bike starts with preparing the frames. You can see how they begin with loading all of the electronics into the frames. The controller's loaded in, all of the connectors are set up, the hydraulic disc brake lines are run. Same thing down here, all the connectors are loaded into the frame, and this gets it prepped to be able to install all of the bike components. Wheels are built in a different part of the factory, with a combination of hand lacing and robotic machine truing. Because of the wide variety of options that Electric Bike Company offers, including being able to pick your spoke and rim color, it just makes sense to do wheel building locally. Not only can the company ensure higher quality production, but they can offer those customization options that just aren't available anywhere else. Other components also incorporate a combination of hand and robotic labor, such as these beautiful oak and walnut wooden accents. The company's woodshop builds these chain guards and fenders that are absolutely gorgeous. It's not a cheap option, and you can see that most people choose painted instead of wood, but wow, that's good looking. Here, all of the components are going on. This is a few hours of work here, but you can see how each of the bikes starts from that bare frame and gets built up with all of its components, each with a dedicated builder, and each of the bikes is also tracked back to that builder, so they can go back in the future and trace each bike back to the individual builder that constructed it. This is just one of Electric Bike Company's factories, and here we're doing the R and the E models. In another facility, they do the other models of bikes, so that they have builders basically all over Newport Beach here. When Electric Bike Company's founder, Sean Lupton Smith, showed me around the different factories, he made a point of discussing how it's not just about building e-bikes like this locally, it's about the strict quality control that you get with local manufacturing. They're able to spec and inspect every single one of the hundreds of components to make sure that it hasn't been swapped out for an inferior raw part. Every bolt, washer, and nut is high-grade stainless steel, so it will never rust. All the bearings in the headset, bottom bracket, and pedals are sealed bearings, so a few years from now they don't start grinding from corrosion, especially in beach communities with salty air. Every part gets inspected as it goes into the bike, and every bike gets meticulously tested before it gets packaged up. While import e-bike companies have to account for a few percentage of e-bikes that show up to customers with damage or something broken, Sean said that Electric Bike Company is below 1 in 1,000 e-bikes that arrives with an issue. And part of that is due to their local packaging as well. They ship the e-bikes fully assembled in larger boxes, so the customer just rolls the bike right out, ready to ride. Import companies have to ship partially disassembled to fit as many small bike boxes in a shipping container as possible. But that leads to damage, something Electric Bike Company largely avoids, by being able to package locally, fully assembled in larger protected boxes. So when we talk about American-built bikes, oftentimes there's the debate, well, are these really built in the US or are these just assembled here? And you can make the argument either way, but when you start with all of the tiny parts like Electric Bike Company does, you really see how these things are actually built here. Like if you come over here, the individual bolts, like everything here, this is stainless steel hardware, even prepared bolts and washers. Everything is set up to build these things from the ground up, basically. If you come down here to the controllers that get built into the batteries, now this is sort of a black box, so they don't claim to design everything in the controller, but what they do is, not only do they spec it to their exact needs, but even the length of the wiring is designed exactly for their bikes. If you look at some electric bikes where the handlebars have a messy rat's nest of wires, that's because they're taking an off-the-shelf controller with off-the-shelf components, and the wiring's 12 inches too long on the throttle, and 15 inches too long on the shifters, and and everything just doesn't line up. So what Electric Bike Company does is they spec this to the exact length they need, and you get that beautifully designed wiring that is the exact length that it should be. All of these other parts, from the connectors down here, all of this is done locally. So if we come look at these guys building batteries here, starting from the beginning, these are just bare plastic cases that they're putting together. They're loading all of the different components in, the charger reels here, the chargers themselves. Everything goes together to create this nice case that the battery slides into. And then when it comes to building the actual batteries, they start with batteries that are spec'd by their engineering team. Philip, their lead engineer, has designed these batteries. Now, they're not built here in this facility, though Sean says they want to get into building their own batteries as soon as they can expand to that level. But they bring in these batteries that they've designed themselves. Everything is packed into the cases here. All of the wiring is done themselves. All the connectors are done themselves. Everything is done right here on these tables for every battery. Some of these batteries even look even more custom. Here we've got the rack batteries that go into the Model Ys, and I think are an option on some of the other models, but everything is built into their own design right in the bottom of these baskets.
And that matching orange basket and orange basket liner is no accident. That's a color combination that a customer selected thanks to a huge range of custom paint options available. To achieve that ability, Electric Bike Company built their own paint shop, and I got to suit up to check it out. A few bright yellow Tweety colored bikes had been ordered, so Alan showed me how he paints the frames and even let me have a go at it. Don't worry, he went back after me and did a better job, but if you ordered a Tweety colored bike recently, there's a chance I helped paint it. My apologies in advance. Now, I found the sheer array of color options that they have to be pretty impressive, but it goes beyond that. They can actually do literally any custom color you want, as long as you can find a paint code. They'll just mix up the exact color to match your car, or your dress, or your dog, or whatever you want.
This is another really cool thing that's unique to Electric Bike Company. This is what they call their design wall, and this is an interactive system that's being set up in many of their almost 100 dealers around the country. You can come through and you can pick all of your components, all of your colors, all the customizations. You can start with either the direct drive or the 7-speed. But what's really cool is really the colors here. I'm not great at this because I don't have an eye for aesthetics, but if someone was better at me than this, you could go through and you could design all sorts of cool, I don't know, let's go with the blue fork and all the different pieces here. How about, well, it's gonna turn into like a clown bike now, but the point is you can go in and you can change everything here. You can do all these cool colors. They've got metallics. The trim, you can go either chromed out or black trim. Let's put some red rims on there. You can really change the bike to be exactly what you want. Something that you wouldn't really be able to do with any other electric bike, especially one that's being built overseas, because it'd have to come in, be disassembled, all the pieces repainted, reassembled. So the ability to make this level of customization is a huge advantage of building these bikes here in the US.
Another big advantage is that the customer service team is local too. Not only that, but they're right down the hall from the builders, so if there's a customer question or concern that they don't know the answer to, they just walk down the hall and ask the experts. Look, there's a lot to take in here, and I haven't even started talking about the awesome ride experience. My wife and I borrowed a couple e-bikes and we had a great time riding them around, but I'll bring you that review in another video, because frankly, this is getting quite long for an electric video. So to sum this all up here, Electric Bike Company is doing something pretty cool. They're building high-quality, customizable cruiser e-bikes in America, and they're doing it at reasonable prices, with bikes starting at between $1,600 to $2,300-ish dollars, and going up from there depending how customized you want to go. Combining that American production and long warranties like 5 years on the battery and 10 years on the frame offers a really cool value proposition. There are a lot of e-bikes out there, but there's nothing quite like what these guys have done.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed that look at how Electric Bike Company builds their e-bikes right here in the US. If you did enjoy the video, why don't you give it a thumbs up? And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of our future electric vehicle videos. We'll see you here next time.